Here comes Google Wallet, voting on a Microsoft Surface tablet, and how one guy accurately predicted the election results. All that and more today on Downloaded. Welcome to Downloaded. This is the show where we discuss some of the most interesting tech news of the week with some of the best tech people out there. So I've got two guests today. First off, Miriam Jawar, who is the senior mobile editor at Engadget, host of the Engadget mobile podcast. Miriam, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Miriam brought toys. I'm really excited about that. And Rob Sandy, who didn't bring toys, just brought himself, founder and former CEO of web video pioneer Vidler, and he's now CEO of new company. You're going to hear a lot about this company, but not today, vid.io. Rob, it's great to have you here, too.
Thanks for having me.
So look, we're going to just jump right into it. We're going to start with Tech Radar, running down some of the biggest tech stories of the week. And the first one, and Miriam, I brought this one up because you're here. You just took a look at the Lumia 822. This is the Nokia. Wow, Nokia is back on Verizon.
Well, yeah, that's actually a big deal, right? It's been like the first phone in I don't know how long, like I think the last one was a Pentec-made Nokia-branded phone, flip phone. So that's how long it's been. Well, look, the reality is, you know, there is two Lumias that are like flagship Windows Phone 8 devices from Nokia right now. There's the 920 for AT&T exclusive and the 820, which is on AT&T but also available worldwide. So what's happened is T-Mobile and Verizon are getting kind of customized version of that 820, the kind of second grade one, and the 822 is Verizon's model. So
what do you like about it? You brought it with you, so you might as well bring it out.
No, actually, the one I brought is the 920.
Okay, bring out the 920 then.
The big boss.
So this is the bigger version. This is the 920.
It's a nice. This is the AT&T model.
It's so blue.
It's very blue and very big.
It is. We were holding it before. It's really heavy.
It is kind of heavy and thick, but I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, if you're used to a very large Android phone, it won't feel that bad. If you're used to an iPhone, especially the new iPhone 5, which is so light, it's going to be a huge deal.
So Rob, you're an Apple fanboy. Pick that thing up. Tell me what you think.
I could get some curls in here. Seconds as an exercise equipment.
So what about the phone? Did you like it?
So do you want to talk about this or the 822?
Talk about the 820. Talk about that one.
Okay, the big difference between the kind of the lesser model and this model is that this one has like a very unique camera. It's the first phone ever made that has optical image stabilization. So the entire camera, the module, the sensor and the lens is mounted on these little motors, and it can move around so that when you're taking a picture, especially in low light, like the studio here is probably not a good thing.
But over there in the corner.
And if you're not going to be steady, right? So the lens is going to, the entire camera is going to compensate for your motion in real time to keep this steady, and then it gets a longer exposure, gathers more light, gets a better picture. The 820 and 822 on Verizon don't have that feature.
Yeah, so you were just over in Finland.
Yes.
Looking at and talking to the Nokia guys. By the way, you say it very well. I remember back a few years ago, the Nokia guys came over, and we were always saying Nokia, and they actually schooled us on how to say the name. And it's say it for me.
It's Nokia.
Nokia, very nice.
Think like you put the emphasis on the
Nokia.
Nokia.
So you were over. Do you think is there a chance that they're going to be relevant, Nokia, again in the phone
space? Well, look, I think they're not. They've not. It's not like they haven't been irrelevant. I think they've had less of a presence in the US for sure. They kind of missed the boat on the smartphone revolution. I mean, when the iPhone came out, which it kind of opened a new chapter in phones, this kind of format of a full screen device, they were making like these incredibly sophisticated and fully fledged smartphones that had like cameras, everything you can imagine.
But with keyboards or keypads,
but they were old school interfaces.
Physical keys.
Exactly. They were way behind in that regard, and they never really made the transition until I think they went with Windows Phone.
Yeah. So like Windows also in the news with the Surface tablet. Rob, have you used the Surface tablet yet?
Have not.
What do you think of the whole Windows 8 Metro thing running across tablets and computers and phones? And does that matter to you, or are you just too much of an Apple fanboy?
All I was looking at this is I might, as an Apple fanboy, venture into Android. But to go all the way to Windows 8 on this or a Surface device is just, it's too far.
Just seems like going too far. But you know, so Microsoft on the offensive. They just released this video parodying the iPad. You saw the video.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it? It was Microsoft kind of get a little cojones there, right?
I think the tricky thing there is, when I first saw it, I thought this was just like a viral video that someone pushed out just on their own. But I think
it is Microsoft who put it out there. I think so. I think
it's very sneaky.
I think they were doing their own thing. Did you see this video?
Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was a viral non-Microsoft thing.
I think it's well done. I could be wrong. It could be viral.
Do you think they're really doing it? Do you think they're like pushing it?
I wouldn't put it past Microsoft. Remember, these are the guys that drew butterflies all over New York City at one point. Remember that?
You know, honestly, Microsoft's advertising sucks.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be surprised if this was done by them.
Well, if it is, it's a step up for them, right?
Sure.
So also, supposedly Microsoft making more profit on every Surface that they sell than Apple makes on the iPad. I mean, they're not going to make much money if they don't sell a lot, right? Right?
It doesn't matter. If you're Apple, you could subsidize that against all the apps you're going to sell. Microsoft doesn't have that. You know, they don't have the app catalog that Apple does now.
But Office is coming out for all these devices. Don't you think they're going to sell Office? No, you don't think they're going to sell?
No.
No. Have you seen the new Office stuff running on any of the mobile platforms?
Not yet, no.
No. Yeah, I've seen all the rumors this week, but I haven't seen it up either. Another Surface story. This week, voting in Virginia. People were voting on the Surface tablet. Rob, is it a good idea to put an unproven piece of technology in people's hands when we're trying to pick the president of the United States of America?
Well, I don't know if you saw the video where they were trying to click Obama and it was going to Romney because it was a miscalibrated device.
Gizmodo wrote a piece last week about how ludicrous I mean, they made it sound like it would be a ludicrous idea for us to vote electronically on our phones and our iPads and our, online, as it were, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I actually do think it could be done right. It could be done safely. It could be done properly. Whether that will happen in a country where everybody tries to corrupt everyone else, like the U.S., I don't know. I'm a Canadian, so But I think it's one of the Eastern European / ex-Russian republics, ex-USSR republics. I can't remember. I think it's either Latvia or one of those has that in place right now, and it's worked really well for them. Of course, they're a much smaller population, and they're much more connected than we are.
So you can vote from home?
Yeah, you can just pull out your phone and just vote.
How does it authenticate you?
No idea. I mean, I'm not sure the details of tech, and that's, I think, the technical issue. But I think I see a future where maybe, couple of maybe 3 or 4 more election cycles where this might actually happen. And of course, we have to keep in mind that not everyone has access to the technology. So we still need to make it possible for everyone to vote.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. It has to be open-minded. But I think it's an interesting thought. And look, technology is changing politics, changing elections. We're going to talk about this later. But I think that's one of the biggest stories of the week. Really interesting. And so you talked about voting. Let's move on to mobile and wallets. So the Google Wallet. Starting to make, I'm not going to say who, but I just talked to somebody who actually saw this Google Wallet card yesterday. It's this black magnetic card. It's got a strip on it, and it acts as a proxy for all of your credit cards. So what you do is take your phone, you reprogram and say, now you're an Amex, now you're a MasterCard, it's actually from Discover Card and Google together. It seems like a step backward, doesn't it, Rob?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for NFC on my iPhone, and I think that's the future, right?
Well, yeah, and it's not like the phone actually is your device. It's like you have a credit card that just gets reprogrammed by the phone. So what happens if it's programmed for one card and then you're like, oh man, they don't take that, I need another card, and you forget your phone, or your phone runs out of battery. You're out of luck, right?
Yeah.
But it's just one. Have you seen the Google Wallet
I use Google Wallet, but I haven't seen the card.
The card,
and what I was going to get to is, this phone has NFC like a lot of phones. I mean, the iPhone not having NFC, I think, is a weird thing to me. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's being used right now, NFC, but it's a weird thing to me. This also has wireless charging, by the way, which is standard, which is awesome. So does this little brother. But the point I'm trying to make is that I use mobile payments all the time, and I don't use NFC, so you don't need it. I use Square. Yeah. And honestly, it works like a charm. There's a few times when their servers are a little overloaded, if you're in a very big event and you have a kind of poor connectivity where it might take a little while to get in the queue. But honestly, I think this is the future. You don't need anything but a wireless device. Yeah,
Rob, have you been using Square or any of these devices to do payments? I mean, what do you think about that?
Square, Order Ahead, Uber, a lot of the apps that take care of the payments for me. And it's been fantastic. I hate taking out my credit card now.
So when you go out, like you're going out for a night on the town, right?
Yeah.
You bring your wallet, you have your credit cards with you.
They have a device for ordering drinks now.
What?
They have an app for ordering drinks.
On your phone?
On your phone. It's
wow.
It's a cocktail or something.
And does it automatically debit your bank account?
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be really dangerous.
Well, the whole controversy is isn't going to a bar and ordering a drink, isn't that supposed to be like a face-to-face type of interaction? Why should everyone be looking at their phone to order a drink at a bar where you're supposed to be social?
Yeah, it's kind of unclear on the concept, right?
Yeah.
So mobile payments absolutely coming. You see, it's already here with Square. It's already here with Uber. It's here with buying drinks on your phone. But I actually think this credit card's a step backwards.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cow-pathing. It's like, don't just give me something new, not something that just makes what I have a little bit better. There's just not enough of a change. Now, MasterCard, actually, did you see the MasterCard? They came out with they announced that their credit card is going to actually have a little PIN pad on it and a little LCD. So you actually put your PIN on it. What? I don't know, that's a little weird too.
That's going backwards again.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to me, it's about convenience, right? Like, I think that I have had a Google Wallet device since the Nexus S. This Nexus 4 in my pocket is the third that has Google Wallet.
All right, so
and works.
Nexus 4, Google Wallet on it. You think this is the best phone ever, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Rob, what do you think? Best phone ever?
What I was going to say though is that to me it's about ease of payment, and I think that's why Square is ease of payment.
All right, another thing that happened this week I thought was really interesting. YouTube came out with another design. Haven't rolled it out across all of YouTube yet, but it is available in beta. You can take a look at it. It's cleaner. It takes the left nav. If you go to YouTube to the homepage, that left nav now becomes persistent. It's there all the time. I kind of like it. Rob, what do you think? You've been spending a little time with it.
A lot of time on it. I'm a big fan. Very short top navigation, and I think YouTube's looking at the fact that the average user at home goes home, watches cable television, and clicks 3 times and leans back, right? And YouTube's trying to hack that. They're trying to get closer to that user, and it seems like this is a big step in the right direction. They're still not nailing it though. There's still some things that are.
What's wrong with it?
Like they show you the number of videos you haven't watched next to a channel, and let's say I have to catch up on 10 revision 3 videos.
Right.
I watch one revision 3 video, it goes to 0. Right, and that's just like a bad experience.
Yeah, but if you only watch one, what happened to the other 9?
Yeah,
are they gone forever?
Yeah, well.
Do I get credit for all 9 views?
But once they nail that, I think it's going to be a real clean experience.
Well, so I do like the fact that the left side nav, where it puts the channels that you subscribe to, is persistent. That was something that they wanted to do, I think, when they rolled this out a year ago. I like it because it's easier to get into. You watch a video, you still have all your friends over there. Yeah. I do think, though, it's just going to continue the process of the serendipity of finding, David goes to the dentist or any of those videos, I think goes away because it's still driving you towards even more of the subscribers you have. Is this changing the fundamental nature of YouTube, Rob?
I don't think so. I think if they're smart, when they do get closer to more lean back, they're going to throw in a random video here and there to kind of get that, serendipity.
Yeah. Miriam, have you taken a look at it?
No.
Yeah, so what's your YouTube experience? Do you use YouTube a lot? What do you think about the way they're going with their design and their experience?
I consume some YouTube in the sense that there's a few kind of subscriptions that I have that I follow pretty religiously, but I don't really have that much time. So I'd say I spend about half my time actually in YouTube creating content.
Right.
Engadget uses YouTube for some stuff, and so I upload videos and I check that everything's working, and so. I mean, my experience, I had my own blog before Engadget, and I used YouTube exclusively, and I really liked YouTube. I think it worked really well for me, and I think it might not work that well for larger entities, but I think for smaller entities, it's always been good. My user experience with it has never been like a big issue because it's not very often that I'm actually in their web interface. Sometimes I'm on mobile or whatever.
Yeah.
So then it's complete. You get a different experience on each format, right? So it's like, how do you unify that? I wish I would see a little bit more consistency in the implementations across platforms.
So Rob, you spend a lot of time on YouTube, a lot of time talking to YouTube users, YouTube creators. Is this the sort of thing that's going to get people to be happier with YouTube? Are they going to be upset? Because people don't like change. I mean, how do you think the user base and then the creators are going to react to this?
So the creators we're seeing right now, even on the blog post that they notified, like forewarning that they're going to change, and YouTube had a pretty bold attitude about how they're going about the changes. There's a lot of upset people. Anytime anything changes, creators get very
right.
This is my livelihood. This is how I pay my utility bill. So I think any change is very nerve-wracking for them. But at the end of the day, right, this is a better thing for everyone. If I'm watching more videos on YouTube and YouTube creates a design that has me watching more videos, that's a good thing for everybody.
Yep, I agree. It's a good thing for everybody, and let's hope everybody likes it. So coming up, statistical genius Nate Silver correctly predicted electoral college results. 50 out of 50 states get it. We're going to learn a lot more in a second. All right, guys, let's talk election. Nate Silver is a god. This guy forecasted performance for career development for Major League Baseball players. He seems to have done the same thing for the Electoral College. Writes for Daily Kos, writes his own blog, writes the New York Times. I don't know if you guys, were you on Twitter during the election night? I was too, and all of a sudden this guy, Nate Silver, popped up. Actually, I am embarrassed to admit I didn't know who he was. I looked into it. I'm like, oh, how does he do it? Rob, how does he do it?
I don't know. It's quite fascinating. I'm definitely going to be following him the next election to see who's going to win. Yeah,
I mean, I want this guy to be predicting everything for me. I want his lottery numbers. Miriam, what do you think?
You know, I haven't really followed. Like, I even missed that during the tweets. I was mostly tweeting with my friends, to be frank. But I'll have to check it out. I mean, this guy apparently is using all this data in a very smart way, right?
He is. It was pretty interesting where, you know, he actually was able to predict. I mean, 50 of 50 states is pretty good. I was a little skeptical. I was like, yeah, right, maybe you'll get halfway there. But, you know, really had great techniques to be everything from Major League Baseball to election results. And it's amazing to me what data can do. So, and I was fascinated when, after Obama won, everybody started talking about what a genius he was. And I think me, like a lot of people, went in there. So Nate Silver, you got to go check him out. Really, really interesting. You know what this guy did before? Like at one point, he made a living playing online poker. So here's a word for you. If you ever are playing online poker and there's a guy named Nate Silver that pops up,
forget it.
Probably best just to throw him in the pot and let him go, let him win. So let's talk about data mining for a minute, because I think one of the biggest stories of this election was how Obama was able to take some of the techniques that credit card companies have used for a long time with predictive analysis and searching for patterns in data, but applying it across the ways that we vote and the ways that we give money, so that they knew who they could go out to ask for money. They managed to raise a lot. I mean, Time Magazine had this great article about this where they thought they were going to get to 900, and I was like, we're never going to. $1 billion they raised and more because of data mining techniques. Is this really changing elections forever, Rob?
Forever. I personally followed both strategies. I subscribed to the Romney newsletter, to the Facebook apps on both, and Obama, he especially killed it with the Facebook app integration.
Really?
Yeah, he dove in deep. When it was about to be election day, it was like, send this to the 5 friends you have in Ohio and tell them to vote for Obama. Yeah. And it was like very targeted data mining and present in a very clever presentation to me, because, I can go tell the 5 people that actually matter for Obama to go vote.
Yeah, I think this is as big a deal. Remember Howard Dean, when Howard Dean's campaign came out, and he was one of the first guys to really use social networking well, change the face of elections that way. The data side, I think, is even more interesting. Miriam, what's your take on the whole data in elections and how it can, maybe help drive results?
Well, I think it's inevitable that this was going to happen at some point. I mean, running simulations to predict things has been done in science forever. And I think, I clearly think that going forward, the people who believe in science and technology are going to be winning the elections, right?
Well, depends on how good
maybe
you are
Romney needs to learn
yeah.
about that a little bit. But hey.
Go back to school and learn JavaScript.
The point is, though, I think that I'm not surprised. I mean, I was a little surprised that Obama went as deep as I read the article too,
as he did, right, exactly.
As he did. But I'm not surprised it's starting to become a big deal, because obviously elections are huge, right? I mean, there's so much at stake for so many people. Once you start having some really good tools, so technology to gather data and kind of try to do some modeling on that and get some answers, it helps. It helps you strategize how you're going to go, right?
So do you think Sheldon Adelson now is wishing that Romney's campaign spent a little of that $10 million or whatever he gave him on some back-end data analysis in a data warehouse rather than attack ads? I do.
Maybe it's some incredibly cool things.
He's going to be 55 when he gets out of office, and it'll be really interesting to see where he takes it from there.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. That's it for Downloaded. I want to thank my guest, Miriam Jawar, Senior Mobile Editor at Engadget, hosting Engadget Mobile Podcast. Thanks for being here. And Rob Sandy is the founder and former CEO of web video pioneer Vidler, and now at vid.io. Go check it out. Thanks a lot. See you guys next time. We'll see you next time, too.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
I like this.